Hello and welcome to episode number 227 of the Launch Lounge podcast. This episode is called The Nutrition Hack That Doubled My Focus Overnight. And you're going to discover the one shift I made to my nutrition that has been better than pills, better than exercise, better than meditation, and has given me back my mental clarity, healed my anxiety, and is helping me function at a level I have not felt in decades. Hello and welcome to today's episode. It's lovely for me to be hanging out with you today. I think everybody's on the wind down. If your kids are still in school, lucky you. Mine has an extra week this year. I'm not sure why the Department of Education for Queensland, Australia decided kids need an extra week this year, but they have an extra week. I think it's got something to do with making up for COVID, some kind of random nonsense. But my kids are very disgruntled that they have to go to school for one extra week. They're in a public school, and so they get the extra week. All their private school friends have been on holidays, maybe for 2 weeks now already. And our kids will only go back on the 27th, 28th of January. So we have our amazing, lovely, wonderful summer holiday coming up here in Australia and Christmas celebrations. I hope you are winding down a little bit wherever you're listening to this today. I want to share a bit of a personal thing with you today. And I love sharing things like this because I said to my friend the other day, why has nobody ever told me this? Because this has made such a ginormous difference for me in overall feeling better. All this perimenopause bullshit that has been going on for 5 years, and that has increased anxiety, given me brain fog, made me gain weight that is impossible to ever lose, and it just goes up and up and up. And all that stuff, all that fun stuff that we women get to enjoy once we hit 40, this is a game changer. So for those of you who are new to me, new to my story, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background just so that you know where I'm coming from with all of this. In 2021, I had a panic attack. It was September 2021. My business was at an all-time high. Everything was cruising. At the time, I looked at my finances at the time, and the finances were the best they have ever been, ever, right? But I was running myself ragged. I, at the time, had 18 clients in the agency. That is a lot. 18 clients. I had my A-lister group where I was selling I was selling A-lister, our foundational Facebook ads course. I had Flapper Club, which was a membership where the students who had completed A-lister could stay on for more Q&A. That was a monthly membership. I had the Launch Lounge membership, which is a monthly membership. I also had the Launch Lounge VIP, which was like a mastermind group. So 4 courses/memberships and 18 clients. And then on top of that, you've got to remember I have to manage a team. And I also have to create content. I had to podcast and social media and all the things. And so I didn't notice my mental health get worse until it hit rock bottom, until that panic attack. And then I spoke to a GP. She told me what it was. She prescribed anti-anxiety medication, which I went on. And I'm really glad that I did. And the anti-anxiety medication suddenly made the voices in my head go a little bit more quiet. And when I say voices in my head, I know you might be thinking, she's a bit loony. She's got voices in her head. But no, it genuinely, my head was shouting at me. I found it very difficult to relax and to shut down. And my birthday is in August, and I remember my birthday that year, we went away for a weekend and I could not relax. I could not shut down. I was so strung out. So since then, I've been on a journey to heal and to figure out how to navigate running a profitable business and doing it in a way that sustains my life and brings me joy. And I'm going to share over the next, I will share in over a few episodes, a few of the big changes that I've made that I'm loving and that is working. And some other things that I will share with you is changes that I didn't make and why I didn't change it. And also, things that I said, well, I just need to not do anything about this or that, or, this problem in the business, or this thing that needs cleaning up, or this thing that needs optimization, or this thing. For most of this year, my focus has just been on cleaning things up, being, not growing, just being. And it has been delightful. And I'll share more of that in a different episode. But so I have been on a journey to healing and figuring out how to really run a massively profitable business while I am doing it in a way that is healthy for me. And I'm on a journey with it. But this thing that I'm going to share with you today has been the biggest shift to date that I cannot believe more people aren't talking about it. I also was diagnosed with ADHD, and that led me to see a therapist, which has been very, very helpful. When you find out you have ADHD in your 40s, it puts a lot of things into different perspective, and suddenly you go, "Oh, that's where that behavior comes from," or "Oh, that's why I'm always moving between hyperfixations and boredom and depression." And so there's been a bit of a learning curve with that as well. Like I said, I did go on anti-anxiety medication, and I highly recommend if you're in a place where your mental health is so bad that you're having panic attacks. Absolutely, 100%. I loved that it quieted the voices in my head instantly, and I was on it for about 2 years. And then I did start feeling better because I had put some things in place. I was regularly seeing a therapist. I was starting to take ADHD meds, and then I did come off of it again. But I would tell anybody who asks me, like, just take the meds if it helps you. As far as exercise goes, some of you might know I started swimming about 2019. So it's been about 4 years, 5 years. Where are we now? 6 years? 5 years? 5 years. And so I used to swim 3 times a week, but I swim twice a week now. And it is crazy swimming. I mean, this is Aussie swimming. This is not the thing we did in South Africa as a kid growing up. That was just elegantly not drowning. This is the Aussies are nuts about swimming. And I thought, oh, I can swim. And I got in the pool with them. Nah, I can't swim. No, these people have taught me what swimming is. We swim like crazy. I swim 2.5 kilometers every Monday and Friday. And sometimes on a Saturday I'll swim like 5. Sometimes if I'm awake at 5 a.m. and I want to go to the pool. But the other thing that I started doing that has made a difference, but that puts all of this in context as well, is I joined a gym where they do offer like small group sessions, and they focus a lot on building strength, so building muscle so that we can build strong bones and so that we have mobility as well. So there's a focus on mobility and there's a focus on strength, which is really the two things you need to age gracefully. And I also had the delight of being diagnosed with osteoporosis at the early age of 42. So I have the bones of a 60-year-old, which has never been a problem for me. I've never broken a bone, so I don't think it's a problem, but it might become one when I'm older. And so I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I have healthy bones. And one of the most important things for that is lifting weights, doing weight-bearing exercise. So despite all of these things that I have done, therapy, meds, ADHD stuff, the swimming, the weights, all of it, everything, and meditation. I meditate every day. Despite all of these things that I've done, and every single one of them, I will say, every single one of them makes a difference. Every single one of them helps. Every single one of them makes it better, makes all of it better. But What I'm going to share with you today is the thing that literally I went, holy cow, one day. I feel massively different. After doing all these things, I still had brain fog. I still was, despite all the exercise, I'm going to the gym 3 times a week and swimming twice a week. Despite all that exercise, my weight still creeps up and never, like, it doesn't come back down. Sometimes it just stops creeping up and then it just creeps up again. So in early October, just after I came back from South Africa, I joined at the gym. They offered this 6-week challenge, 6-week weight loss challenge, right? I had never, ever in my entire life been on a diet. I do not have the self control. I do not have the willpower, and I think it sucks. So it is just a bad idea. It was just a bad idea. But I'd just been on holidays for 3 weeks and I felt, and I love the people at the gym. I really trust them. I feel very safe and I feel very guided with them. And so I thought, well, what's the harm? Let's join the 6-week challenge and see what they've got. I can try to do more exercise, but I'm already like kind of doing a lot of exercise. But let's see what they say about the food. And the funny thing is, this wasn't even super food focused. So I'll tell you what we did in 6 weeks. We got an app. It's not MyFitnessPal, but you can use MyFitnessPal. It's some app that I can't promote. I can't even tell you what it is because it's like a branded thing that the gym signs up for, and then we get access to it through the gym. So I don't know what the app is, but MyFitnessPal does the same thing. So if you want to look at MyFitnessPal for any of this, I highly recommend it. Today's episode is brought to you by Your First 10K Course Launch, the no overwhelm guide to converting your expertise into income. If you ever catch yourself thinking, I know I could help so many people if I could just figure out how to profitably launch my online course, you're not alone. Every day, brilliant creative entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants keep their knowledge locked in a one-on-one service because turning it into a scalable course feels too overwhelming. Here's the good news. Creating your first 10K course doesn't require you to become a marketing genius. I've packed everything you need from packaging your expertise to launching with confidence into this no overwhelm step-by-step guide. Head over to thelaunchlounge.com/10K to download your copy today. Don't let another day go by with your expertise stuck in time for money services. Your future students are waiting. So here's what we did. I got given 6 weeks. I was told that I am consuming 1,700 calories a day, which meant absolutely nothing to me at the time. 1,700 calories. I have no idea if that's a lot or a little, or I had no idea. Don't know anything about calories. 1,700 a day. And they broke down the macros, which is the protein, the carbohydrates, and the fat in this percentage. 45% protein, 35% carbohydrates, and 35% fat. And that added up to 170 grams of protein every day, 128 grams of carbohydrates, and 57 grams of fat. It's not a lot of fat. It is actually, I think, on an average day, I consume a lot more fat than that because I quite like avocados and I quite like butter and I quite like olive oil. But I had to cut back on some of that just to fit into that fat percentage. But the thing that I looked at and went, holy moly, how am I going to do that? Is the 170 grams of protein. Guys, 170 grams of protein is a lot of protein. That is a lot of protein, right? So I started and I was tracking every single thing. And I remember the first few days feeling quite disgusted and sick from all this protein. So typically I would have a protein shake in the morning before I go to the gym or before I go to swimming. And then I would have either eggs for breakfast, but I'm talking about, like, let's say 2 regular eggs, and then you add half a cup of egg whites. Blah, it's so much. It is so much eggs. And I love eggs, but that was like adding that half a cup of egg white. Bleh, it's even now when I think about it, I don't want to see an egg white ever again in my life. But yeah, so that would be breakfast. And then lunch, you'd have a selection of recipes to choose from, which is mainly consists of some kind of meat and then a little bit of veggies, because those carbs go over that percentage very quickly. And for dinner would be more protein and then a tiny bit of veggies. Uh, for me, during this process, I realized that I actually really can cut back on things like on the lower density, lower nutritional value. I'm not using the right words here. I'm clearly not a nutritionist. Lower nutritional value carbohydrates. The rice and the bread and the things that are typically white or pale. That is veggies. But what I missed in this 6 weeks was enough fruit and veggies. I like vegetables. I need a lot of vegetables. And I think the flaw in this system is that vegetables are classified as carbohydrates most of the time. And so they put that carbohydrate score quite high really quickly. But, I genuinely believe not all carbs are the same. A cup of broccoli and a slice of bread is not the same thing. So I did miss veggies. And I'm going to tell you, I became quite constipated. Eating that much protein blocks you up, especially if it is, if you're drinking protein shakes and things, it blocks you up. It was a problem for me. And I am the most regular person on the planet. I know that's way too much information for a podcast, but you love me. You can deal with it. So that was a typical day, and it took me a week to feel disgusted but get used to it. And then week 2, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep going with this. I'm going to do this. We'll work this out. And then I got used to it. I had to manage the constipation, but I kind of got used to it a little bit, and I looked forward to it ending so that I can get back to eating vegetables, because I have this psychological thing that my body, like, I'm like, no, my body's not healthy if I'm not eating veggies, so I need veggies. So, but here's what happened. By week 4, it was like suddenly my brain went into a different gear and it started working again like it used to work before I had babies. And I know that it is how it used to work before I had babies because I could feel it work that way. And I have forgotten that that is how my brain used to work. Because it's been such a long time. It's been 13 years. My oldest kid is 13 and a half almost. And ladies, those of you who are out there who's had babies, you know what I'm talking about. You know when that kid is inside you, like you feel like they're eating your brain. The memory loss starts, the brain fog starts, and they say it comes back, but I don't think it ever comes back. And then you hit perimenopause and then it just gets worse, right? And then you add all the anxiety and depression and all the things. I woke up one day and I realized that I am not overwhelmed. And that's huge because I feel like the smallest thing would make me feel overwhelmed. I am not overstimulated. And that is huge for me because I'm often quite a bad friend because I just can't look at my phone because it's another notification. I just feel like as soon as I feel people are looking for me or people want me or people need me or there's notifications, I want to lock myself in a room. And that went away. And so suddenly I'm thinking, oh, I should reach out to this person. Oh, I haven't spoken to that person in a while. And so there's this social uh, connection that suddenly came back that I feel is like a personality thing that it changed. I remembered suddenly, oh, I used to like checking in with my friends. Now I feel, and then in the last few years, I felt, can we just get WhatsApp on silent, please? Whereas now I went, oh yeah, no, I'll go check in on the group. I'll speak. I'll hang out. I'll do all the things. And it was purely because I felt so incredibly overstimulated. Now you can imagine if you don't have to imagine because you do run an online business and your team is digital. Every conversation with every human is a notification. I thought I was going to go crazy at some point. Well, I did go a little bit crazy back in 2021, but it has been hard to find that balance between running a digital business where everything is a notification and managing that hyperstimulation, that overstimulation from being poked all the time in every If I pick up my phone, there's 100 pokes. If I, you know what I mean by pokes, right? That went away. I realized that suddenly my brain doesn't want to check out when I feel there's too much detail going on. When I'm listening to someone and they're getting bogged down in detail, or I'm analyzing something and there's too much detail, and that might be an ADHD thing, or it might just be a Salome thing, but I'm not the detail person. Like, I'm the big picture person. I'm the pattern. Sure, I'll give you the pattern. I'll give you the big picture, but spare me the detail. But I used to be good at picking through detail to find the big picture. And that went away for a while. That's been away. That's back. Now I can deal with the detail in order to find the pattern. And that's what makes me good at what I do. That's what makes me a good communicator. That's what makes me a good teacher. That's what makes me a good coach, is I can filter through the detail and give you the important bits. And the other part is the focus. I can really sit down and focus and do stuff. And I can also do that when I'm taking my meds, which is great, but I can do that without relying on the meds so much. And I'm not as annoyed when I'm in a hyper focus and I get interrupted. Look, I will be the first person to say my poor husband gets it because he's the most wonderful man on the planet who calls me at least once a day when he's in the office. When he goes down to get his coffee, he gives me a call. And sometimes he calls me multiple times a day. And it's the most wonderful thing. I always think about my mum, who was so desperate for my dad to just ever check in with her. And he was a bit like me. He was just like, I'm working, leave me alone. But my husband calls me a lot to check in. It's the most wonderful thing. But I lose my shit sometimes when I'm in the middle of a hyper focus and my phone goes off. And I'm ashamed to tell you this, but I have often put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I don't want to be disturbed. Even by the person I love the most, in the most loving and kind way. It drives me nuts. That has been better. Okay. So here I am, like 4 weeks into my protein journey. And I realize all of this. And so I'm like, holy cow, can this be the protein? Surely. Surely it's not just the protein. I changed nothing else. I didn't exercise more. I I slept the same amount. I worked the same amount. I changed nothing else, just the protein. Well, just what I was eating, right? And the main big change was the protein. So I did what every intelligent human do, is I went to ChatGPT and started a conversation about the benefits of protein and how much protein a woman my age needs and blah, blah, blah. And I said to my friend ChatGPT, so what's the relationship between mental health and protein? And I found loads and loads and loads of information about it's so obvious because now I'm gonna totally botch it, but protein is amino acids, and that's the stuff that makes our brain, that connects the wires in our brains with each other. So if the wires in our brains, you know what I mean when I say wires. I know I'm freaking someone out. Some neuroscientist is listening to me going, I've got to send this girl an email. The little wires in our brains, they need to fire together, and when they can't reach each other, or their tips are broken, or they're all smushed up, then it doesn't work, and that's when you have brain fog, and that's when you have lack of clarity, and that's when you can't focus, and that's when you feel anxious, and that's when you gain weight, and that's all the things. All the things. And we know from science that our bodies are losing estrogen. And we know that when we start losing estrogen, we need more protein because we start losing muscle mass. And I was like, why has nobody ever said to me that you can help your mental well-being by eating more protein, and you can help all of those perimenopause symptoms by eating more protein? Nobody has ever said it to me. They talk about all the other things. They talk about hormone replacements. See, this is the things. I love the conversations about hormone replacements because, like you can hear, I'm all about the pills, right? But why didn't anybody tell me you just need to massively up your protein? And I guess there must be something in it. Like, I am not a protein deficient person. I am a South African by birth. We are renowned red meat eaters. I eat biltong every Saturday. It's like we are red meat eaters. We are meat eaters, and I love fish. I eat protein every single day, but it was not enough. I needed more. And so I thought, okay, I found all this stuff online, but I had an appointment with my GP. So I went to the GP and I told her this. And she just looked at me and she said, yeah, that makes sense. There's protein. Protein heals your brain, but protein is what makes your brain function. And I went, holy cow, how many conversations have you and I had about this? And you've never said to me, have you considered eating more protein? So here I am on my protein bandwagon, spreading the word. I did, in the meantime, find a really great resource, and I'm going to link to her website and her resources. Her name is Molly Galbraith. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Molly Galbraith. She's on Instagram. I'll link to it. Her company is called Girls Gone Strong. And she's just, as far as I can tell, a lovely human. But she has a free resource for perimenopausal women about protein. And I got the free resource and I read through it and I was like, yeah, we should spread the word about this. So I'll link to that for you if you're curious. Go check out Molly. She doesn't know me. I don't know her. I found her on Instagram and I found this resource and she's great. And I like her resources. It's really good. So for the first time in years, I get to the end of a year, a calendar year, and I really honestly feel like I'm thriving. I feel like I have 2025 to look forward to, and I can't wait for what my team and I are going to create in terms of courses and memberships. I can't wait to see what my clients are going to create and achieve with my help, my team. I can't wait to be a better leader for my team because I feel so much better. I can't wait. I'm in the process of redoing. I've just redone the 5-day video training, the Facebook ads 5-day video training. I'm redoing our signature course A-lister, and I'm incorporating that into the launch lounge. And I'm working on a new membership level that's going to give you everything you need to succeed with Facebook ads, but not just so you can get leads. So you can also get leads who wants to buy from you, and leads who are, can price your program the right way. You can make the right offer. You can use the right funnels. I am looking forward to that. I don't feel in any way, shape or form overwhelmed, tired, exhausted, run out, all the things that I felt every year at the end of the year for the last 3-4 years since I had that panic attack. So I do want to tell you that I have now brought back veggies into my diet, I have also brought back avocados and olive oil, but I have gotten rid of the egg whites. But I still drink a lot of protein shakes, and I still drink a lot of other like protein yogurts. And my favorite one is a Rockaby 20-gram protein shake that every weekend I go online and I see where I can find those on special. And then my husband and I go hunting. And some days some days it's like, oh, Coles have them on special now for $4. And then I'll be like, oh, 7-Eleven selling them for two for $8. And so we'll go and buy a whole bunch there. Or, oh, Aldi's got them for $3.50. And then we'll just buy a bunch. So we've become those crazy people who are hunting down the cheap Rockabies, the discounted Rockabies every weekend. It's very entertaining. But I wanted to share this with you so that if you are feeling shite, particularly if you're a female in over 35, because it started for me at 38. I started feeling these things at 38, but I had the panic attack at 41. I'm 44 now. I want you to know that there is help. Some of the help can really be as easy and as simple as just increasing your protein. And if nobody has told you that, now somebody has told you that, and now you have a resource you can go to. I want everybody to feel the way that I'm feeling right now, and I will keep talking about it if that's something that you want to hear. All right. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you on Thursday. Talk to you on Thursday. Bye. Before you go, if today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.